All right, I think we're ready for our next competitor, George Cummins. George is, the topic of his presentation is recognizing predators, both old and new. He's pursuing the Master of Science in Biology, and his major advisor is Tad Timer.
Today, humans are moving species around the globe at an unprecedented rate. Anytime a species begins living in a new area, new interactions form between species that were there and those recently introduced. For all these species to continue to survive, they must adapt their behaviors to deal with these new interactions. For example, imagine aliens suddenly came to Earth and began taking the wheels off all of our cars. To deal with this new interaction, we begin driving hovercraft around to avoid using wheels altogether. Now, while this may sound ridiculous, this same type of crazy new interaction is what species across the globe are dealing with today. But what if a predator is introduced to an area? My research question was, can species adapt their behaviors to deal with threats from introduced predators? I did my research in Hawaii, where native birds are threatened by introduced predators brought there by humans over the past 1,000 years. I did this by comparing the behavioral responses of birds towards models of predators placed at their nests. And I used both native birds, like the one in the upper left, and introduced birds, like the one in the upper right, which were brought to the islands over the past 100 years. I compared their responses towards two model predators, the rat, shown in the lower left, which is a predator that's been in Hawaii for about 800 years, and the snake, shown in the lower right, which is a predator common to birds on the mainland, but one that has not been brought to Hawaii. So this is the first time these birds will have seen one. Now I found the individuals of the native birds had increased numbers of calls and movements in response to the rat, but not to the snake, as indicated by the blue arrow. I also found that the introduced bird shown here increased its numbers of calls and movements in response to both models, as indicated by the red arrows, even though this bird has been living in Hawaii for over 90 years without snakes. And that's about 15 to 30 generations for a small bird. So what does this all mean? Well, two things. One, species can adapt their behaviors in a relatively quick time, as we see with the native birds responding to the rat. And two, at some point these behaviors do become instinctive and pass down to future generations without that predator being present, as we see with the introduced bird still responding to the snake. Now, this type of research is very important for conservationists who may be trying to relocate or reintroduce a species to an area where it has become locally or even regionally extinct. It's key for us to understand how quickly a species can adapt its behaviors and how quickly a species may lose adaptive behaviors for us to ensure their survival in the wild. Thank you.